Ultra high net worth individual, easiest way to define would be Bill Gates, or someone who has over $100 billion of investment to be made. And you would be amazed that financial services company world over, and now I'm not talking of an Indian phenomenon, but more European, Western Europe and the US, a bank is profitable or an investment company is most profitable when its investors are in the category of mass affluent. So if the investment numbers are very high, but your amount invested is small, the company actually loses money in processing that investment. So in terms of just transaction, which is the largest mutual fund company in the world? Pardon me? BlackRock, we'll talk about BlackRock. Anything else? Closer to home? UTI, he's right, give him a hand. So, on one hand, given our population of over 1 billion people and large amount of middle class and investors, you will find UTI in terms of transaction is the largest, but that does not make it the largest in terms of asset under management, nor does it make it most profitable, because it's not just the transactions which are involved, it's the amount of money which is invested, and therefore, as I said, mass affluent are the people who really help businesses like this make substantial amount of money. Talking specifically of mutual funds, companies like Fidelity, UTI, Reliance, and so on, a mutual fund is an instrument which helps investor invest in 2 or 3 kinds of markets. One is the equity market, which you are all very, very familiar with, which is buying stocks of a particular segment, or it can be dispersed, or it can buy index stocks and so on. There are various combinations and permutations and slivers of specialization within that. The other is the investment in the bond market. What is the bond market? Anybody wants to define that? Okay, so things like treasury bonds and so on, which are issued by government. Anything else? Pardon me? Yes, that's right. So it's treated, it's debt basically as opposed to equity, where you are guaranteed a certain return. Somebody said corporate. Who said corporate? Yeah. You said corporate?
Yes, so when companies need money, they can also go approach the public and issue their bonds.
That's right. So you call it bonds here. It's very famous in the US to go by the word bonds. In the past, we would call it debentures in India, and we would have convertible debentures and non-convertible debentures and so on. That's the bond market. And the third market is, any guesses?
Money market.
Money markets. So what is the money market? Whoever said that can define it for me. Yeah, money market is really usage of money for various, lending it in short term, essentially making your currency or your money work 24/7 at very, very thin margins, but then the volumes are so very, very large that you are very profitable and you make money. So broadly, if you look at the financial segment instruments, while there are many, many complexities, it's the equity, it's the debt or the bond market, and it's the money market. And those 3 are something you might want to learn as you move forward. And there are 5 categories of customers. Let's talk a little bit about what happened on the subprime crisis, which led to all kinds of interesting stories about the financial segment. So anybody would like to just stand up and say what they understand from the subprime mortgage crisis? Go ahead.
Prime lenders are those who do not have a high risk attached with them. Subprime is those who are high risk investment for a bank. So whenever they invested on these people, the risks actually they took failed, and they couldn't repay the money, which is why the crisis happened.
Sure, that's a good definition to start with. Any more details on what happened?
It also had a lot to do with the kind of securities that investment banks are offering. Rather than being vanilla and simple investment options, they combined a lot of these with the subprime options that they had in the portfolio and created exotic securities in which people invested, and actually which didn't have a proper mortgage backing, which was solid enough to actually ensure safety of their funds.
Okay. Yes, please.
mortgage market in US, the real estate market, people like subprime borrowers were loans were given to these guys because they did not have a good credit history, but still these loans were given, and this was basically because after the tech crisis, like in US iBank, the returns were not good, so they had to take a few risks. They did take those risks, but then what they did was securitize those loans. They sent those into SIPs or special investment vehicles like in countries outside the US, and then those stocks were actually sold, rated by the rating agencies like Moody's and S&P. They were rated very high because they were bundled together with some high value stocks, and they were then sold to pension funds or something.
Let me paraphrase this because you don't have a microphone and people might get disturbed. What you said is right. So let me just quickly run you through so that you understand how complex and intriguing the financial segment is, and I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. So the subprime mortgage crisis came about by lending money to people who wanted to buy homes. Now, if you or your parents or your brother or sister wants to borrow, there is HDFC or ICICI which happily comes and says, how much do you want? And I'll give you more. That is because your credit rating is high. They feel that you have the capability to pay, and that as you graduate from this college, you will have very good offers which will allow you to pay back the loan. But if your cook or a driver wanted to get a loan to buy a house, in India there's no way. He goes to a China, a money lender, and buys and borrows at some phenomenal rates, maybe 2% a month or 3% a month. Then your bank rates are, let's say, 10% or 7% or 8% a year per annum. So in the US, they realized this and said we must allow creation of wealth, and so they had a legislation by which they allowed people in the sort of inner city circle, so to speak, people who are not very wealthy and capable, to borrow money from banks, and they were called the subprime or the subprime segment, not the prime segment. The difference is the rates were a little higher because you knew if 100 prime borrowers borrowed money, 95% of them would return. If 100 subprime borrowers borrowed, perhaps only 80 of them would return or 75 of them would return. So it was a good legislation. It was not bad. It was to help people who could not afford homes otherwise. But what happened as the market picked up, everybody is into all of our second job, apart from what we do, whether we study or work, is being a specialist in equity, stocks, and in cricket. So as rates of homes started going up, everybody said, oh, this is a great idea to double my money, to treble my money, and so on. And they started borrowing money from the banks. Now you must understand, every time a bank gives you money, it makes money, right? Otherwise, why would they give you? Every time they give you a loan of 30 lakhs, they make hefty fees or commission on that, which is profitable for them. So banks started giving more and more money to these people. And when you give more money, what happens to the housing prices? It goes up. So it went into what they thought was a very virtuous circle. There was more money, so prices of houses went up. Prices of houses went up, more people wanted to buy, so they borrowed more and prices went up again. And it was happening for over 2-3 years. The banks which gave the money, or mortgage institutions like ICICI and so on, had a regulation that they could not indefinitely keep giving money to people because that became risky. Also, did they have money indefinitely? I mean, the amount of money they had was limited. So what would they do once they have lent out, let's say, 100 rupees to all of you, or let's say 10 million rupees to all of you, and they've run out of money? They took these documents which had the promise of people to pay back money over the next 10 years, 12 years, or 15 years, and put that together as an instrument. And that process is called securitization. And those bonds are called? Excellent. Collateralized debt obligation, CEO, which has become a very infamous phrase now. They collateralized those debts and gave it to an investment bank, which then gave it to what is called an SPV, or a special purpose vehicle, and that was available to you as debentures or shares and so on, not going into the details of it. So if Saudi Arabia king had a lot of money to invest, they said the borrower had taken this money at 10%,